People perceived it really well.
See the duck?
I can't really relate to chopping off my hair.
No! You have the distinguished look already. You're already there.
I really wanted to do this. It's just the time.
I go through the 1,200 photos we took and pick one.
Big guy behind my vocal things.
And I had like a very detailed schedule of which shots to work on each day, and then that's 7 days a week.
I tipped over that edge, and that was a really exciting moment for me.
I'm still laughing about that intro about Jurassic Park and elephants.
She still hasn't got any elephants, so it's a win-win so far.
All those little things that you forgot how to deal with.
But it was so much work to reach people.
You just like flow love, and it's really nice.
It is the 10-year anniversary. I can't even speak. Of Eclectic Arts.
What's happening, brother? And thank you so much for having me on. I love the introduction. I am everybody's brother, man. Come on.
Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining me on this Monday, the 13th of September, 2021. I'm Mark Sugiyama from Eclectic Arts, and I'm looking the wrong way because I changed my device, and there's my camera over here. We had a few technical issues, but they have been worked out. So thank you for your patience, for hanging out and getting ready for our interview today. Really quickly, this Friday at 7 p.m. Oh, I'm looking in the wrong place again. 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. I have Charlie Ford joining me, and she is from Australia. She is an adult entertainer, which will be the very first adult entertainer that I will be interviewing via live stream. So that's at 7 p.m. on Friday. And if you want to know more details about what I have coming up, you can follow me as Eclectic Arts Media, one word, on Instagram. And I post everything there first, and then some of that information migrates over to other social media platforms. If this is your first time watching my YouTube channel, if you could hit that subscribe button, that's greatly appreciated. I saw a really interesting analytic where most of the viewership that I'm getting is coming from people doing searches. It's not coming from my subscription list, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. But if you could hit that subscribe button, that's greatly appreciated. And so, yeah, how come I keep looking in the wrong place? Anyway, so let's get things. My guest tonight has been entertaining fans around the world for years, from his early appearances on Pawn Stars to his own hit show, Counting Cars. My guest has raised the bar to new levels on cars, motorcycles, music, and tattoos, among other artistic endeavors. The new season of Counting Cars begins this Wednesday, the 15th, on History. It is my great pleasure to welcome back to the Eclectic Arts virtual studio, the one and only Danny the Count Koker.
What's happening, Mark? Good to see you again. Good to see you again, brother. Absolutely. It's been a long time. It's been too long.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's great seeing you. And it was, I have the date down. It was June 10th. We last connected.
You're kidding me. Oh, man. Well, and by the way, for the record, I am not Kevin Mack. I am on Kevin Mack's computer because my computer isn't bright enough to do this. And I mean bright enough up here. I'm not a tech guy. So Kevin has to do all this for me, and then I sit down. It's good to see you, man. I cannot believe it's been that long. Oh my gosh, this last year's been insanity.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been such a whirlwind of transition and ups and downs and everything else. And it's just I'm glad that I get a chance to talk with you again, that you've got a new season coming up on Wednesday, and everything with your businesses. So let's start with the show, because you got a brand new season coming up. When did you guys start shooting these episodes that we're going to start to see on Wednesday?
Well, I tell you what's really interesting about that. Good question. We have been shooting the whole time. So, I know we've all been dealing with this crazy pandemic and all the lockdowns and the shutdowns and businesses getting closed and this and that. Well, here in Las Vegas, in the state of Nevada, as luck would have it, my shop, Counts Customs, is licensed as a garage. And garages were considered essential businesses. So my rock club had to close for a while. My tattoo shop had to close for a while. My recording studio had to close for a while. All those things had to close down. But because Counts Customs, the shop itself, was licensed as a garage, we stayed open. I sat down with just my key team. A lot of people, we gave the option to stay home if they want to stay home, come to work if you want to come to work. I didn't let anybody go. I didn't lay anybody off. I kept everybody going as much as I could. And we kept working here because the projects here at the shop just never stopped. So the network and the production company that shoot counting cars, they too were faced with all the same challenges, and they're all based out of New York. And when they found out that we were still working and that we were still willing to continue to work and shoot, we kept going. So everything that you're about to see on this season of Counting Cars took place during the whole shutdown, during the whole pandemic, and we just kept going. But when you watch the show, you're never going to know, because we when it came to shooting, we just behaved normally and did all of our stuff as normal. So the shows are not dated. The shows, you're not looking at the shows and people are wearing masks or staying, X amount of feet away from each other and like that. No, we just made a promise to each other that, look, man, we're going to come to work, we're going to work, then you're going to go home and you're going to behave, and then you're going to come back to work, and everybody stay safe and stay clean. And we have. So all of these shows are all stuff that we have shot literally over the course of the last year.
Wow.
That's been a challenge too. It's been a real challenge too, but we've been making it happen.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, I have the pleasure of talking to a few people that have done some films and some television during the pandemic time. And so they're like trying to figure out how to work through this stuff safely, and things that they're used to being able to do. So, oh, wait, we can't do it that way. We got to, get like a skeleton crew here and then put another crew over there and all this other kind of stuff that they never had to think about.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, much respect to the production company, but they've got rules. And so, part of their rules are all of us have to be tested twice a week. And so, we're tested twice a week to make sure that it's okay to be on set. I don't even study, and I'm passing my tests.
That's the
man, it's been good. It's been good. It's been seriously challenging. I tell you what the biggest challenge for us has been over the course of the year has been getting parts. Parts have been a big challenge, because so many of the manufacturers have been shut down over this year. So many of the distributors that we work with have been shut down over this year. So, getting and finding parts have been the biggest challenge. But for us, we've been here every day. We haven't stopped. We have not skipped a beat. And then after a period of time, I got to reopen my tattoo shop inside of the Rio, and then got to open up my rock and roll club here on the west side of town. That came back. Got to open up my recording studio again. So everything now is finally back up and running. But wow, what a challenging year to keep everything intact, during the shutdown. It's been a huge challenge, but thankfully we are still here. It's kind of like starting over with some of the entities, like the rock club and the tattoo shop, recording studio, this and that. It's kind of like starting over, but that's all right. We're here. We got a pulse. We're kicking.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you found a way to keep all of your businesses going. 'Cause obviously some people have not been that fortunate during this time. Yeah, for sure. And I just thought about something when we last talked last June of 2020. I think you had told me something interesting about that. Like, you could open your tattoo shop, but the reel was closed.
Right, right, exactly. We got the word from our governor that tattoo shops are okay to be open. So open up your tattoo shop. That's great. My problem was my tattoo shop's inside the Rio, and which is owned by Caesars. And Caesars Entertainment at that time had only opened Caesars, and they hadn't spread out to their other properties yet. So the Rio was still locked down, and I couldn't even open that yet. But the bills were still there. Yep.
Yeah, those never go away.
Nope, the bills were still there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And I'm assuming, based on how you've done previous seasons, that you have episodes that are ready to go, but that you're still working on more episodes for the rest of the season, or when they decide to kind of, because history kind of tends to break things up, like put so many on air and there's a little bit of a break and then they kind of come back.
Right. Yeah, this has been literally focusing the whole time on this season. So it's a longer season. I mean, it's going to be new episodes for a good 2.5 months. You're going to see new episodes every week for the next 2.5 months. I mean, right up to, the end of November, beginning of December, you'll see all new eps. So it's a long season. They usually do shorter seasons. This is a good long season. And you're the first person I'm going to tell about this too. They have put together a show to follow it called Counting Cars Under the Hood. So what you're going to see on Wednesday is you're going to see a brand new episode of Counting Cars on History at 9. And that's a 1-hour ep. After that, it's followed up by Counting Cars Under the Hood at 10 and 10:30, 2 half-hour shows. And what those are is it's kind of like a best of Counting Cars type of thing. And we've done so many episodes. There's got to be close to a couple hundred episodes of Counting Cars out there. And in each one of those episodes, there's at least a couple of vehicles that we've built. And so over the years, I mean, there's hundreds of vehicles to talk about. So history and the fans have asked for kind of more of a behind the scene, in-depth look at some of the builds. So like some of these episodes, you'll see Counting Cars Under the Hood will be Cadillacs we've built over the years. And so for that half-hour episode, we'll talk about some of the Cadillacs. We'll show you some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that never got on the air and tell you some stories behind those builds. And then, and that happens with each episode of Under the Hood. There might be, like Corvettes, and then there might be celebrity builds or this and that. So as we watch Counting Cars, stay tuned, because after Counting Cars, you're going to get hit with Under the Hood. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that sounds awesome, and thank you for sharing that with me and for everybody else watching this right now. So now they know that don't change the channels once the episode's done.
When the credits roll, there's still more to come. So stick around.
I love it when shows do that kind of thing, when they kind of go back to the vaults and start pulling things out and talking a little bit more in depth about things.
It was fun for me because I mean they were coming up with stuff that I hadn't even thought about in years. I mean, Counting Cars has been on TV for over 10 years now. So it's like they started talking about vehicles and oh my gosh, I haven't seen this car in, 9 years. And I'm trying to remember, what it was like. And I start seeing video of it that they're showing me. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember there was this and that and that and that. So it'll be fun. It'll be a good time.
Yeah. So it's a little bit like going down memory lane for you then.
It was for me. It was for me for sure.
Wow. And something else I just remembered about our interview from June was that you gave me like 2 of 3 exclusives during that interview. Yeah, so you just gave me one right now about that Under the Hood episodes right after.
That's the first time I've talked about it. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I remember what the third one was that you couldn't quite say yet because it was about Count 77.
Okay.
And it was that you had a single ready to come out. And did that actually come out, or were you guys still sitting on it?
No, not yet. That was another. See that there's another bit of comedy there. That was right before everything got shut down, and so I had to basically lock up the recording studio. So now it's coming. That single is actually finished, but we decided to release it. Of course, it'll be released on new technology, which I'm such not a tech guy, so I don't even know what to call it. But we also kind of wanted to do like a very old school, kind of like a keepsake souvenir type of thing. So there's a company that still does vinyl 45s. But at modern 33 1/3 speed, but it's like a 45 size disc. And so we decided, well, we're going to release the single with that, but we need a B-side. So now you're going to get 2. So the original single I was talking about is actually done, mixed, ready to go. But now we've done a B-side for it, and we've got all the music laid down on it. Tommy Paris and I are getting ready to go in and lay down all the vocals on it, and then that'll get mixed, and then we're going to send out 2 singles from Count 77. So they're both big, famous 70s songs that we have covered and redone our way, and they're going to be released together. So we're close on that. Also, speaking of Count 77, we did a thing where we did a 5-camera switched. I call it switched live to tape, but it's live to whatever the new technology is. Full concert at my club at Counts Vamped not too terribly long ago. And that is actually getting finished in post-production right now. And we're going to release a whole live concert for everybody. So there's a lot of folks, around the world that have said, hey, we want to see Count 77, but, I'm in India or I'm in, the UK. And so that'll be coming out here sometime soon. So I'll have to let you know when all that stuff happens. But these are some of the fun challenges that we've been faced over the last year. Is certain projects that were almost done or almost ready to go had to get put on hold until we could get it all done. So all that's coming.
Okay, well, hey, that's awesome. That I have time to try to figure out what 70s tunes you guys.
There are a couple of good ones, man. I mean, one is a little heavier than the other, but they're both something that I loved in the 70s growing up, and they're songs that my bandmates loved in the 70s growing up, and we've been doing them in concert now, and so you're gonna dig them. I think people are gonna dig them. It's definitely fun, and we're actually working on a new record right now too. I've been writing for new records. Tony's been writing for a new record. We're working with Mike Varney right now, who's our producer and record company. And now that the studio's back open, we're going to be able to get into that. So all that good 77 stuff is coming your way soon.
That's awesome. And yeah. I want to say a quick hi to Steve, who is saying, killer guest. I've been a car guy my whole life. Love his show. So
thank you, Steve. You rock, brother. I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Steve's been a big supporter of what I've been doing. He's based down in Houston, Texas. So
amen.
Yeah, and gosh, so you got all the stuff with Count 77, and that live stream, or you're saying, cameras to tape. That's going to be awesome that we have something, because obviously I saw you guys live in 2018, if memory doesn't fail.
The casino up there, yeah.
Yeah, and just like most things, especially for rock bands, either they cut it live or they don't, and you guys, bring it live big time. So that's why it's going to be great to see a representation of you in that sense for people, like you said, from around the world that can't, come to Vegas or come to the States even. They can actually get a taste of what you're like live, via this other medium.
I appreciate that. Sure, we love to go in the studio. We love to record. We love doing all that kind of stuff, but nothing makes this band happier than going out and playing it live. And we are that type of band that stays true to the 70s, where, there's no tracks. There's no faking the funk, so to speak. I mean, we're 6 guys going out there doing it live, and we love it. We love it. We're a different kind of animal when we're live on stage. We love to go crazy with the crowd. So it's a whole lot of fun. It's a whole lot of fun. If you haven't seen us live, I recommend come visit, and or look for us on the road. We're doing a big thing. Matter of fact, we're doing a big thing this Saturday night at the M Resort and Casino right here in Las Vegas, and that's the first time we've played the M, and it's going to be huge. So we're looking forward to that. So a lot of good stuff going on with 77. A lot of great stuff going on with Counts Kustoms and Counting Cars, and now Under the Hood. And man, it's been a challenging year, but we're blessed, and I'm thankful.
Yeah, I'm really glad just hearing you talk about everything that obviously you've been passionate about for so many years, and that you went through this, trying time like all of us did, but now you're coming through the other end of it, and that your things are still there, and that they're actually ready to start basically kicking ass again.
Amen. I couldn't agree with you more. That's exactly how I feel about it. We're doing. I'm hosting a show on the FYI network called Ultimate Rides. I don't know if you've seen that yet, But I did that a couple of years ago, and it went over great for FYI. And so we just did a whole new season of it, and it's on right now. That airs on Thursday nights on FYI. So that's happening right now. I think that season's been on for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and it's going to go on for at least another 7 weeks or something like that. So check that out. Thursday nights on FYI, and then Wednesday nights on History. I'm like a bad rash, Mark. I'm all over the place.
Well, I think that's a rash people that seem to like. So
I appreciate it, man. The folks are cool. I tell you, the folks that enjoy the TV show are some of the nicest people literally in the world. And the fans of the band are some of the greatest folks that come to our shows. It's just, we're fortunate. We're really blessed in that respect, but we work hard for it. And that's what you got to do is you got to get out there and work it like yourself. Look at you. I mean, you've been working it, man. And what you're doing is growing, man. And that's phenomenal. So, I'm that guy that tells people, don't expect somebody to just hand it to you. Go out there and work for it. Go out there and get it.
I could not agree with you more, and thank you for the compliment, because
absolutely.
It's like I've told back when I was a teacher, and even with people now, because I have people that will send me messages asking me they want to do what I've been doing virtually over the pandemic period and still doing this now, and they think that there's some sort of shortcut to it. No, put in the work. That's what it is.
That's it.
You got to treat people right. You got to be professional. You got to be caring to some extent, and then and you got to stay the course. So whatever that course is for you, eventually it will come if you're doing things the right way. But you're not going to get there overnight by any stretch of the imagination.
100% right. You're 100% right. It takes time and dedication, and you got to love what you do. You got to love what you do, or you're not going to put in that time and dedication.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have my number here, as a lot of people know who view my live stream. So since May 22nd, 2020, I've done 244 live streams.
Holy moly, that's a lot. That's a lot. Congrats on that. That's huge.
Yeah, thank you. And that's one of other things that I was doing during that time. So not to talk about myself, because I want to talk about you, but
all good, man. I started it.
But I started reviewing films during the pandemic, and this year I've had six film festivals I've been credentialed for, including Tribeca. Okay. So yeah, if you ever start venturing into the film world, I've done I don't know how many freaking reviews.
That's great. I'm a movie guy. I watch movies all the time, so I do enjoy some good movies.
Yeah, same here with me. And I was just doing something in that regard just for fun. And then this opportunity came, and then that's kind of, I think, and you're probably the same way. It's like when the opportunities come, then I jump all over them. You try to work them the best you can and make those opportunities grow and expand. And that's how things start coming to you. But if you just sit there and watch those opportunities go by, you think, I don't feel like working on that today, or I'll just work on half of it, then you're going to get what you get, which is nothing.
You're going to miss your shot. You're going to miss your shot. I agree.
Yeah, for sure. And I have to ask, just as a fan of Counting Cars, and again, for people, it's going to be this Wednesday, the 15th, you get the new season on History. And don't forget, and Danny just mentioned earlier to us that you've got Counting Cows Under the Hood, 2 episodes, so you don't want to miss those 30-minute episodes. How do you, and obviously I know that you're passionate about cars. I mean, you're going to be like that till the day you die. But how do you stay passionate about doing the TV show? Does it ever get to a point where you're like, I just don't want to deal with this camera stuff. I got too many other things on my plate. Let me just deal with the shop and my band and all the other stuff. How do you keep it fresh after all these years?
You know what? That is a great question. That's a question that actually nobody has asked me before, and I actually have an answer for it, which is rare too, that I have an answer. but I have to give 100% credit to my director. There's a gentleman by the name of Jonathan Weish. Jonathan has directed the show since the beginning. He's been with me for over 10 years now. And most of the crew is also the same crew that's been on the show for all of this time as well. And so this team of hardworking production crew, they've literally become a part of my fabric here in the shop. They're with me in the shop every day. it's become just normal life. And because we have so many projects going, it's not like we're building like, one car and we film that. I've got probably right now, there's got to be 10 cars right now in certain stages of build. There's some stuff in the paint shop, some stuff in the fab shop, some stuff in the upholstery shop, some stuff in mechanics there. I mean, there's stuff all over the place. And so every day there's something different for that production crew to be shooting. And every day I'm here and I'm working with my guys. And so they basically just become flies on the wall and follow us around. So it's not like somebody says to me, okay, listen, man, at 11 o'clock today, we're going to shoot a scene in the such and such shop about this car. It's not like that. I mean, they're literally just following us throughout our day-to-day process here. And then with all of that, it goes back to post-production and they put together the shows that make sense. So I think the way that I just stay cool and stay fresh with the show is the fact that it really doesn't get in my way. It doesn't intrude. It's just part of the shop. There's cameras in here. So we just keep going, I got to watch my language sometimes, but we just keep going. I get mad too. So, every once in a while you get mad and then I look at my director and I'm like, sorry. But yeah, I give total credit to my director. He's fantastic. Jonathan Weish. He's fantastic.
Well, that's wonderful, and thank you for sharing that behind the scenes part of it, because I think that really must be a credit to him, because he's to a point where you guys can go about your business, and then he's capturing all this footage, because he could be a director from a different cut from a different cloth who wants it a certain way, and I need you to stop doing that and come over here, and then you're like, no, we don't work that way. We got we've got a deadline on this build over here. So as much as I want to do the TV show, you need to kind of adjust to me.
Well, that could be, and I'll tell you this too, Mark, and I'll give a huge amount of credit to the production company and the network. History and ITV is the production company. ITV Left Field is the production company, and History, which are both based out of New York. When this show very first was getting kicked off the ground, when they said that they wanted to do a show with me, they had sent out a couple of producers and they spent like a week with me, and they were like, okay, we want to do more drama. We want you to get mad. We want you to, throw a chair at somebody or whatever like that, and I'm like, nah, that's really not me. That's really not my vibe. I really appreciate the opportunity, but I'm not going to do it that way, because I really want to keep it real. And I think that real will be longevity. Car people know what's real and what's not real. And I've seen a lot of car shows, and I know what's real and what's not real. And I think other car people, are very savvy to that as well. And I kind of backed off from the project originally. They sent out another guy who spent probably 10 days with me, just kind of shadowing me. At the end of those 10 days, he goes, great, I'll see you later. Went back to New York, got the phone call. They're like, just do what you guys do. And then along came the director, Jonathan Weish, who had done, several other shows. He had done Miami Inc. out of Miami for years. He had done, I think, Lizard Lick Towing or whatever, which was a repo show where you're going out repossessing stuff. He'd done a bunch of different stuff. He had done a bunch of big documentaries in Egypt and everything. Fantastic guy. The fun thing about him, he knows nothing about cars. Nothing, which is actually a blessing. So he's just here to capture what we do, and he's not telling us what to do. And thankfully, the production company and the network felt the same way. Let's not tell these guys what to do. Let's just let them do what they do. And out of that, I give them huge credit for making a great show out of just us doing what we do. So that's why it works. And I agree with what you're saying on the fact that, we're blessed that people aren't trying to come in and make us do something that's not comfortable for us.
Yeah, it sounds like it's really the perfect marriage of that.
It
You got,
worked out really well.
yeah, and he does all of his, film and TV and video background, and you're not getting in each other's way. It's just like a really great collaboration is what it is.
Yeah, and we get along great, which is so important. We get along great. Yeah.
That is interesting that he knows nothing about cars.
Nothing. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. When I mean, he's learned a lot over the last 10 years, but it's hilarious, man. When he first started, it was so funny how he would refer to something on a car, and I'd be going, what? What are you talking about? And he's like, well, that thing right there. And I'm like, oh, dude, that's called a fender. He's awesome. He's awesome, though. He's great.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, that would actually be like if I was directing, because I don't know a lot about cars either.
Right. Well, all these guys are out in New York, so to them, a car is that yellow thing you get in the back of. They don't know.
That is true. At least he has that excuse. I don't have that excuse up here in Seattle.
Right. Absolutely, man. Hey, I got to ask you.
Yeah.
How's your mom?
My mom's doing really well. I'm 99% sure she's watching this right now as we're live.
Awesome, because when we played up there in Washington, I got to meet your mom. She came to the concert. She was extremely cool. So I just wanted to send her my regards, man. Absolutely, give her my regards.
Well, I appreciate that. I would certainly do that, and I bet you right now she's probably got a big old smile on her face. And
she's cool. She's cool. That's great.
Yeah, and I appreciate the fact that you remember her from
Absolutely.
3 years ago.
I can barely remember what happened yesterday, but still.
And just so that you know, since I'm on this other device, there's a real small chance that if you see my screen disappear, I'll be back in 5 seconds. So the stream's still fine. We're still live, everything.
I just thought maybe I was boring you to death or something.
Yeah, no.
Just shut it off. That's it. I'm done with this guy. I got to go.
Yeah, no. I just thought about that because I'm noticing the time. There seems to be something between 30 to 35 minutes where it'll just dump me on this device. That's why I switched to other things. But anyway, we're good for right now. But speaking of, you met my mom at Snoqualmie Casino when Count 77 played there. Yeah. Back in the end of July of 2018. I believe that you and Kevin both did a podcast with Brian Decora from the casino about leadership and big businessmen and that type of thing. I'm kind of curious, just in general, of your own opinion. What do you view yourself as a leader? And then two, if you do, what are some things that you think make a good qualities for leadership?
That's another good question, Mark. Jeez. Okay, you're good at this. Remember this, folks. Mark's good at this stuff. Do I see myself as a leader? I tell you, I never thought of myself that way, and I think it's just something that happened. I've always considered myself a front man. Now, my definition of a front man, I mean, we can get down to brass tacks about like the band. That's a simple definition of a front man. I'm a lead singer. I've been a singer since I was a kid. So I'm a lead singer of the band and the front man of the band, and that's the guy that goes out and works it and has a magnificent support band that is there doing their thing with you. It kind of turned out that way at the shop. I always consider my guys. I never say that. I rarely ever say that my guys work for me. I always say that we work with each other. But it evolved into me being, the front man, so to speak, of the shop. Now, the creatives on the cars and stuff, they come out of my skull. And so the direction that a build is going to go, what we're going to do, comes out of my head. So I guess I'm the leader in that respect. And but my guys are so extremely talented that I love to work with everybody and get everybody's feedback and let them put their 2 cents in, and we put it all in the pot and stir it up. And whatever is the best route to go, we work on that as a team. So, that's the creative aspect on the vehicles. Now, as businessman that you were referring to, again, I'm the top of the food chain here. It is Counts Customs, so I am the guy, but I make sure that I know what I'm good at, and I make sure that I know what I'm bad at, and so I'm not a detailed guy when it comes to paperwork and crossing T's and dotting I's and this and that. And that's why I've got this guy, Kevin Mack. Is his name still on here? Yeah, Kevin Mack right here. Kevin and I go back. It's got to be 28 years we've known each other. We met out in the wind riding motorcycles. And he's always been that detail guy, the cross the T's, dot the I's kind of guy. So as this was growing is when I called Kevin. I'm like, dude, I need somebody I can trust to come in here and help me be help me manage things. So, I didn't set out to be a business leader, but it kind of turned into that. And I think an important thing about being a leader in a business world is knowing what you're good at and what you're not good at, and knowing what you should do yourself and what you should delegate, and then find the right people to surround yourself with. And trust is a big deal, man. Trust is a really big issue as to who you can trust to make those right decisions. So there's to me, there's a lot involved in being a leader. So yeah, I guess I am, but it's all about working with your people, not necessarily being that tyrant boss. And I don't like that. I've never been that way. I've never been a hard-nosed tyrant boss. I like to work with people, and I like my environment to be comfortable for everybody, because I think you get more out of your team if they're happy and comfortable where they're working, as opposed to always being under somebody's thumb. So I don't know. I do it differently than I think a lot of people do. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes it's not good. Sometimes, I lose by doing it the way I do it. Sometimes, people aren't on the ball because I'm not being a tyrant. But, there are those times when it happens, and I've got to, put my foot down, and I've got to be the hard-nosed boss. But thankfully, those times are few and far between. What a long answer to a short question.
No, I really appreciate your insight on how you view things, because I think anyone who's watching this and anyone who's a fan of the show, I think it would ring true, because your personality and the energy that you give off is one of trying to incorporate people, not exclude them.
Absolutely.
And so, like, you'll listen to your crew, but at the same time, like, if there's something that this is how you really want to see it done, they can come to you with something that you're still not quite sure about. It's like, no, well, I'm hearing what you're saying, but I still think we need to go with this color, or we need to do this kind of thing to it.
Right. And it's the same way with business. It's the Elvis syndrome of running things and doing things. You look at Elvis, he was the head of the whole thing, but he was surrounded by some really good people. You know what I mean? And that made things take off and go. So that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, and you also said something that I also agree with, is that trust is a huge thing. So you got to find the right people, and when you do, you hang on to them.
100%. It took me years to put this team together. That is no kidding. You were talking about dedication earlier, just really being dedicated and working at it. Well, long before there was a television show, Counts Customs was here. And it took years to find this team and put this team together. And then as the television show happened and we grew, I had people come into my world that maybe shouldn't have, so I had to get them out of my world. And you keep sorting through the folks until you get that right team. And when that right team is there, man, hang on to it, because it's worth its weight in gold. Teamwork is everything. It's all about team. I'm not that guy who's all about I, me, and this and that. No, it's us and we here.
Yeah, and I and that reminds me again, like when I was interviewing yourself and the entire band of Count 77, the whole thing kind of came up about that you view things, and I think it was like the analogy of like how they do it with sports teams, that if you play for the man next to you, then everyone wins. But if you don't and you play for yourself, everybody loses.
Agreed. And if you remember, like even in that interview when we were sitting backstage there, you know, I wanted to make sure that everybody in the band was talking with you. It wasn't an interview with me. It was an interview with Count 77. And that's how I feel about it, you know, with my team here at the shop, man. It's like all of us. It's about all of us. And that's really important to me.
Yeah, for sure. And I see my mom's in the chat. So she's saying, she says, hi, Danny. And
hi, Mom.
Yeah. Her name's Carol.
Hey, Carol. Good to see you again, so to speak, virtually here.
Yeah, she's giving the thumbs up. She's saying,
all right.
Taking care of business. Yeah, and I wanted to ask you something, even though I know that you and I think the same way about this, but when there's always going to be detractors, there's always going to be haters.
Sure.
And for me, it's just like I just don't pay attention to it. I stay in my lane, do what I do, and
right.
You know, just am grateful for the people that are supporting me versus the detractors.
Yep.
But I got to bring this up because there was so the interview that we did back in June. I didn't realize, like on YouTube, so it's still there on YouTube for people that want to watch the interview that Danny and I did back in June 10th of 2020. I didn't realize that there's a section on YouTube where it will hold comments. So if it thinks it's like it's spam or something that's junk or whatever, it won't put it underneath the video. So I didn't know it was sitting there.
Okay.
Well, one day I was like, what's this column over here? And I clicked on it, and there was a comment about our video, our conversation we had. And it wasn't about you directly, but they're pissed at me.
Why? What'd you do?
And it was like this really long thing that they wrote. And the gist of it was that they said they were ashamed for being from Washington because they wanted me to go after you for who you voted for in the presidential stuff.
I love it. There's nothing like the politically insane, and it's easy this day. That's easy these days because politics will drive you nuts. But my opinion is this: this is the United States of America. You are a free person, thank God, and you know, vote how you feel you need to vote. That's the beauty of it. And so, you know, if and the flip side of the coin is this too. I never went out and tried to shove my opinions down people's throats. That's not my style. That's not my taste. And I was interviewed. I think I was on Fox News 2 or 3 times, and I'd done a couple of other interviews. I'm not the guy who goes on my social media telling you what to do. I'm not the guy who goes on different videos telling you what to do. I always took my opinion from a perspective of a businessman, and that's what I told everybody that wanted to interview me about, you know, who I was voting for in the election and this and that was from the perspective of a businessman and who I felt would be good for business. And I still stand on I made the right decision as to who would be good for business. And man, I don't talk politics. Mark, you always get me going. I will say this, man. I'm praying that we can get things fixed because right now I'm not pleased with anything.
Yeah, and you know, again, I come from the same mentality that, and people know this from my live streams. They've heard me say this more than once, that if you don't like the candidate over here, candidate A, then you put all your power behind candidate B, whoever you happen to like. You don't sit there and try to take down the person over here.
Exactly.
But that's, so I'm like, and you remember this because we're of kind of similar age. That it used to be a time when you could disagree with someone but still be their friend.
100%. 100%. That's what I try to do. And it's difficult because I find myself walking on rice paper talking about things. And others seem to be allowed to be bold about how they feel. And then that's just not fair. But you know, I will say this, you know, I'm respectful of everybody's opinions. Everybody, this is a free nation. So, You're allowed to have your opinion. You're allowed to select who you want to select, and that's just how it is. But one statement that I will make right now is we don't leave Americans behind. So right now, my ass is chapped. My ass is thoroughly chapped, and I'm not going to get past this. And no matter how badly the mainstream media wants to divert us to talk about other things or wants to pretend that we're working with the Taliban, you don't work with the Taliban. That's a terrorist group. You crush them. You don't work with them. But one thing you never do, you never leave Americans behind. And so I can't get past that. So as much as they want to talk about other stuff, for me, the talking is done. The talking is done. We don't leave Americans behind. So now we all know where Danny stands. He tried to be, man, he tried to just keep it cryptic, but I know I laid it out there. I'm this what's going on right now. No, not acceptable in any way, on any level. No.
Yeah, and you know what I appreciate about that is that you feel comfortable enough to say that with me.
Sure.
And because if you didn't, you wouldn't have said it. There's no way. You would have been like, I want to say this, but F it, I'm not going to say it because it's I don't know.
In today's climate, you just get attacked. You get attacked constantly by people, and that's a shame, because you should be allowed to voice your opinion as long as you're not a jerk about it. Voice your opinion and don't be a jerk about it. And so, while I don't go out there and preach about politics and this and that, that's not my style. I'm all for everybody having their own opinion, their own vote, their own voice. God bless you. That's what this nation is based upon. But I too have that same right. And so, now I've got a celebrity platform. I don't think of myself as a celebrity, by the way. I call it a celebrity platform. But I don't take advantage of it. I don't go on my social media. I don't go on my YouTube channel. I don't go on interviews, and I don't preach at people and do that. I don't like that. I don't like it when others that have celebrity platforms go out there and harp on people. I don't like that. And so I'm not one to do that. But what I will say is I do feel that everybody has the right to their opinion. Everybody has the right to their vote. And that is a magnificent right that we have in the greatest nation in the world. And while I'm not thrilled with a list of things that have been going on, the leaving Americans behind is unacceptable.
Very well said. And again, for people that,
and my name is Kevin Mack. If you want to hate on me, my name is Kevin Mack.
Yeah, so if anyone's watching this, and they want to pull a quote from there, just put Kevin Mack underneath.
Right. I mean, I think honestly, I think the way I'm talking about this, I don't even think the haters can hate on this, because the haters, you have the right, haters. If you're a hater, you have the right to your opinion. You have the right to your voice. Everybody has the right to their opinion and the right to their voice.
Absolutely. And
but I'm still going to hate, Mark. They're still going to hate on me for this, but whatever.
Well, it's gonna crack me up if that same lady comes back and puts a comment on this one.
Hey, at least she's passionate about it. God bless her. At least she's passionate about her hate. So that's all fine and dandy. But it's a shame that there has to be so much hate, and that we can't just work as a team and work as one nation. No matter what side of the aisle you stand on, we need to work together.
Absolutely. And I think anyone who was born, or at least can remember, we just had the anniversary of 9/11. That's the time when it didn't matter what side of the aisle you were on. Everyone felt that, at least for me, even up here in the Northwest, you felt like you were connected to people in Florida, people in the Midwest, people in on the Eastern Seaboard, down where you're in Vegas, because it gave us a common reason to come together.
100%. 9/11 20 years ago was one of the worst days of our nation. 9/12 20 years ago was one of the most amazing days of our nation, when you literally saw Americans just all joining together as Americans. And that's what we should be doing.
Hear, hear. Totally agree with that.
Amen.
Yeah, and to kind of, we'll bring it back to counting cars as we kind of wrap this up.
I hate that show. I hate that guy. He's an idiot.
Oh my gosh. But again, for people, it's this Wednesday, the
Yes.
15th of September, new season of Counting Cars. And again, Counting Cars Under the Hood is right after that, so you don't want to miss those episodes as well. You
Right.
get more detail about certain builds and some of the unseen footage from all the many years that the show has been on history.
Yep, bro. The first episode, by the way, is giving Alice Cooper's car back to him. So Alice Cooper is on episode 1 of this run of shows, and I just got to say, arguably the nicest guy in the world. No kidding. I'm not just trying to say that about a big name. This guy's got to be one of the nicest guys in the world. He's wonderful. He's genuinely cool.
That's awesome, because I remember that was one of the I think one of the exclusives you gave me last year was that you had his car there that you were working on.
Yeah,
to be able to see it. So
it came out gorgeous. Anyways, you were talking. I interrupted, man. My bad.
No. So based on how you said the show is filmed, where you guys are in the shop doing your thing, those guys are kind of like flies on the wall working around you. They go back into post, do all the editing, everything else, and kind of put it all together. Do you ever see a time where you would want to stop the show, even though the shop Kustoms is still doing its thing?
That's a really good question. Again, Mark, yeah, man. Everybody needs to subscribe, because Mark here, he asks really good questions. I'll go this way. There he is. Everything's backwards. Yeah, man. He asks really good questions. Because it's not intrusive at all in my world. It's however long the network wants to do it, I'm in. I'm cool. I think it's completely up to them. I think as long as it works for them, I'm great with it. I'm blessed with the fact that it's a marketing tool that I could never afford for the shop. And so, I'm thankful in that respect. And, there are so many episodes that I'm sure it'll go on in reruns for a long time. And, but however long they want to go, I'm in. I'm cool. I'm not looking to stop anytime soon.
Okay, well, that's great news for people like me that love the show. So,
amen. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's funny that like you were mentioning, there's so many episodes of it that every now and then, not now, but like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, it reminded me of like when you would get like a pack of baseball cards, meaning like, got it, need it, because every now and then there'd be an episode that somehow I missed. So I'm like, what's this one? I don't remember this one.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there.
There is, and like you said, there's going to be probably syndication of some sort. So I mean, they're going to keep on going, and people 30 years from now could be watching the show, because there's such a human interest element. Obviously, the car element for sure.
Yep.
This combination of things has just been a winner.
Well, that's something that I didn't expect to happen with the show. Originally, I thought the show was just going to be about the cars and the builds, or the motorcycles and the builds. And I really did not expect the human element of it to happen. I didn't expect so many heartfelt stories, be it about family or about military or about, memories or something, in people's lives. I didn't expect that. And that's something that just kind of organically happened with Counting Cars. And it's become such a big part of the show. And I really didn't expect that to happen. And I'm glad it did, because, building cars and building bikes, it's a blast, and seeing cool cars and seeing cool bikes is great. But meeting the people behind these vehicles and hearing their stories, man, that's just bonus points. So I'm really happy that it happened that way. I really am.
Yeah, I again, for someone like myself, I think that's what really kind of got me hooked. Was it's cool seeing the cars, cool seeing the rides and everything else, and you guys as personalities. But when you start hearing the stories behind these things and the people that come to the shop that ended up in the show, that's what became that human element, that kind of emotional connection element. And I think, again, it's worked for many other people out there because that's why they're still tuning in.
I think so too. I think it's been a big part of it. Thanks for noticing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sir, thank you so much for taking nearly an hour of your time.
Oh, you're kidding me. Good Lord Almighty, man. I'm going to go home and have some dinner. I'm hungry.
That makes two of us. I'm home. I need to eat, though. But
enjoy.
Danny, it's always a pleasure talking with you.
Mark, thanks, man. Right back at you.
I appreciate that. Every success with the new season of the show. Again, everybody, it's this Wednesday, History Channel. Don't change that channel once the episode's done because you want to go right to those Counting Cars Under the Hood episodes. And don't also check out Count 77. I see Steve was saying he didn't know that you had a band. So he's like, oh, man.
Oh, yeah. 70s hard rock, man. We're 70s hard rock. Original music and some big covers along the way. You guys will dig it. If you're 70s music folks, check out Count 77. You'll dig it.
And if you really want to start digging around, you can look on my YouTube channel because that show that Danny and I were talking about from 2018, I've got 2 live clips on my channel from that show. So you can see what we're talking about live in their element.
All right.
You're doing Traveling Man, I remember.
Give me some Seeger. Love him.
Yeah, and then you guys did Suspicious Minds because Zito was having a problem with his rig. I remember.
Right. we throw in some stuff once in a while when something implodes on the stage. We just kind of like, oh, okay, let's just do some fun stuff, man. So, we improvise. The band is we just celebrated 11 years with the band, and so it's been around a long time, man. So it's fun. It's fun, and all the same guys. We haven't changed members.
Well, 1, congratulations on 11 years. And 2, that says a lot that you guys have the same lineup.
Same group of guys since the beginning. So when we all got together, it felt great, and it's stuck that way ever since, man. So thank you. Thanks for mentioning everything, the band and the shows, man. Tune in Wednesday night. Tune in. You guys are going to dig it. It's really cool stuff. I promise. It's good stuff.
Yeah, and thanks to Jay, thanks to Steve, thanks to my mom, Carol, anyone else that's out there watching, because I see we have other people that are kind of shy. They're not in the chat.
Got it. That's cool. Thanks for watching, you guys. Appreciate it.
Again, thank you, Danny. Have a great night down there. Stay safe, and much success to you with everything that you do.
Thank you, brother. God bless you all. I appreciate it. Mark, thank you. Keep doing what you do. Let's do this again.
Sounds good. Take care.
Talk to you later, brother. Peace.
Bye.